Hello and welcome to the 30k channel. I'm your host David Brains, and in the studio today we have Tom and Jason. Good morning, gents.
Morning.
Yep.
G'day.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Now, we've been trying to set this up for a long time. It's finally happened. So Jason, I met you at I can't remember what it was. It wasn't Black Library. It was Weekender. Year two
years ago now.
Oof. And I remember you beat me quite severely with your Blood Angels.
The Tyrannic Greatsword with the Allied Dark Angels helped a little.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that was right. Yeah. So yeah, the poor Thalax got absolutely mangled on the face of Jason's army. So good work there. But it's finally happened, and you brought Thomas with you.
Yep.
Or Tom rather, and you've brought a really lovely Sons of Horus army.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Pleasure. Both of these armies are absolutely amazing. So there'll be a ton of photos from this game, so it's worth checking those photos out when they go on the Facebook page. It's going to be a really beautiful, beautiful game, I reckon.
And pretty bloody as well, hopefully.
I think so, yeah. I mean, both lists we're looking at are really, really unique. We've got a ton of drop pods, and then we've got the Blood Angels with a couple of sneaky drop pods, and then led by your Primarch at the front there.
Yep.
Ton of troops as well.
Yeah,
we're both.
I think mine especially, it's almost like a tactical company, almost.
80 men.
80 men, yeah.
Yeah.
Christ, and how many jump pack have you got?
30 jump infantry.
Jesus. I mean, it's going to be a really, really interesting game as well. Ton of drop pods. I think there's 12, did we count quickly? 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Yeah. So
yeah, 12.
Yeah.
That's mad. We don't really see drop pods that much, but you've gone for an absolute orbital.
For in this game.
Yeah. Orbital defense? Orbital strike. Assault. Sorry, yeah. Can be interesting, I reckon. Now, these blokes have come both from Milton Keynes, or not far out of Milton Keynes, so they're really close to Channel, so that's really fantastic. So I've not had a 3-hour mammoth drive this morning, or flew in from the States or any part of Europe today, so that's good to see. Yeah, and both your armies are absolutely amazing. This
Thank
is
you very much.
flattering us. Oh well, this is what the channel's all about. Two guys, two great armies. It's going to be an awesome game. Let's talk a little about your list quickly. We'll do the full army breakdown in a second, but Jason, let's start with the Blood Angels. What's the thrust of the army? What's the rough thinking?
So, I'm running Day of Revelation, Rite of War, and I read Fear to Tread years ago, and the first couple of pages of that with the Blood Angels coming in as the hammer from orbit, led by the Primarch, and Assault Marines screaming down with drop pod support. That kind of sold me with Blood Angels, really. Yeah. So that's the approach I've gone with my army. I've got no tanks or anything even in my collection. It's very much Descent of Angels from Heaven. That's how I like to play.
We've seen a lot of these recently, and they are tough to deal with because you're right. They're supported by the drop pods, which carry the heavier stuff, and then the units are quite hard to get rid of, aren't they?
Yeah, they benefit from a cover save on the turn they come down, so it makes them a bit harder to shift. Apothecaries are a must-have in the army. Yeah, but it's a bit of a glass cannon, really. It either goes very well or very badly.
Yeah, I've faced a couple of Blood Angels players, and my army in particular does not have enough firepower to deal with those assault troopers. And if they can last till the next turn and they charge, they've got quite early on.
That's it, really.
It should be quite interesting. Tom, tell us about the Sons of Horus. What's the idea here?
In a way, they're fairly simple. Like I said earlier, it's almost like a tactical company with lots of special weapons. I like to do something a little bit different, and in a list like this, you almost need them special weapon squads to be the meat of the army, because you haven't got Spartans, you haven't got like any heavy tanks or anything, or big Terminator squads. So when you can drop pod something in directly where it needs to be, you get a lot more use out, like the melter guns and things like that. So they're just there to back up the bulk of the army.
And I think it's the first time as well we've seen Sanguinius on the channel as well. Can you deal with Sanguinius?
Hope so. I'll give it a go.
Got enough plasma and melter in the army, and the flamers are fairly terrifying as well.
Yeah, actually. Luckily we know each other, and there's been a bit of talk about that. We've taken it into a bit of consideration, so I think we'll be all right. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. And with Sanguinius on the board, are you running with a squad, or is he on his own? What's the plan?
He'll come down with an assault squad, so he's got a few ablative wounds. I've tried running him with the Angel's Tears before.
Okay.
And I think it was maybe a bit too much protection for him. So I've put him with the Assault Squad today, and we'll see how he fares with 15 friends wrapped around him in a circle.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a challenge for the Sons of Horus, but you do have the tools to do the job. You know, like you said, those drop pods can come in quite accurately. They can flame the guys around them or shoot the Marines around them, and then they can come in with their special weapons and maybe pip off some points from.
Yeah.
But I think he might be in trouble when that guy gets stuck in. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a blender when he gets in, but there's a lot of bodies to go through.
It could definitely go either way with that, though.
Yeah,
whether he's dealt with or not.
I guess the other thing as well is you might need to sacrifice a squad, and what you want is you always want Sanguinius to win on their turn, so he's open for your next turn, and that's where you can bring your units into position and hopefully shoot him off the ball. But we'll see. I say hopefully. I'm not saying hopefully. It's a tough prospect, when you got someone's got a Primarch and the other person hasn't.
I've used him 4 times so far, and he's died 2 times.
Has he?
Yeah, I took him to an event and played 2 games, and he died both times. So
really,
let's see if we can do a bit better than that today.
That's interesting. And you're both running Leviathan as well, which is great. A different loadout I can see as well, which is really cool. Leviathan's a tricky one. Again, they're like a Primarch. They'll either go in and blend a squad, or they'll get one-shotted. They kind of never really go either way, do they? It's a bit tricky, really. But
yeah, my Leviathan's kind of the anti-tank puncher in my army. Really. That's the main reason I bring him. Just trying to deal with enemy Leviathans and Spartans and things, because that's what I struggle with really with this army.
Okay.
Yeah.
Serious anti-tank for the big heavies.
Both coming in from deep strike, though, that takes the place of a tank almost, doesn't it? That's something to form your army around and give you a bit of support, something a bit tougher. Yeah.
And it's worth noting as well, before we go into the army review, Phosphex, you've decided not to set Phosphex on both your Leviathans, is that correct?
Yes, I think it's really cheap for deleting a unit from the game. And we had a test game. We both took it in the test game, but neither of us used it, so we thought, well, we'll just take it out of the list for this game.
Yeah, that was a real friendly, and we sort of got the measure of each other's armies. So we did need to think about Sanguinius a bit, and that was something that came up. We'll leave that out.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So it's really great. Phosphex is an amazing weapon, and you are right. For 15 points, it can devastate virtually any infantry squad in the game. And it just becomes a bit of a monotony, really. Bring it on, fire Phosphex, delete a squad, and then you can do it to your opponent as well. So to take that away will add a little bit of extra, I don't know, a little bit of thinking required around it. But good on you for doing it, though. It's really great. I am really excited to see this game. I am really interested to see how the Sons of Horus are going to get stuck into those Blood Angels and vice versa. But the board we've gone for is fairly open, because I was aware that there was a ton of drop pods coming in. And the last thing we want you guys is to fight your way around a city. I think it'd be quite difficult. Yeah. But also it might be a bit more advantageous for the Blood Angels, because they've got a lot more manoeuvring ability. But then so has the drop pods. But once you're in, you're kind of there, aren't you?
It just means I've got to think about where I bring them down.
Yeah. So the board we've got is a slight variation of the board we've had maybe about a year ago. We've got the landing pad and the warehouse, and it's fairly open in between. So there'll be plenty of room for these guys to move around and get some line of fire down. So we'll see how it goes. Gents, let's dig into your armies, work out exactly what we've got.
Yep.
And then we'll see you at the beginning of turn 1.
Okay. 3,000 points of Blood Angels, running the Day of Revelation Rites of War, led by Primarch Sanguinius. Blood Angels HQ is made up of a Legion Chaplain Consul. He's equipped with Artificer Armour, a Combat Shield, a Jump Pack, and he's wielding a Blade of Perdition. The second HQ choice is a Legion Herald Consul. He's wearing Cataphractii Terminator Armour, wielding a Power Fist, and carrying his Banner of the Aquila. First elite choice for the Blood Angels is a Legion Terminator Squad. They're equipped with Cataphractii Terminator Armour. The squad has 3 Power Fists, 2 Chain Fists, 4 Combi Plasma Guns, and a Plasma Blaster. Second elite choice for the Blood Angels is a unit of Crimson Paladins. There are 4 men. The Paladin Exemplar is armed with a Blade of Perdition, and the 3 remaining Paladins are equipped with Sunset Blades and Coriolis pattern Storm Shields. The third elite choice for the Blood Angels is a unit of Angel's Tears. There are 9 men. The Sergeant is equipped with 2 Plasma Pistols. There are 5 Assault Cannons with Suspense Webs, and 3 men with dual Volkite Serpentas. The entire unit is equipped with Melter Bombs. The fourth and final elite choice for the Blood Angels is an Apothecarian detachment, consisting of 3 Apothecaries. 2 are equipped with Power Swords and Jump Packs. The third is equipped with Jump Pack and Augury Scanner. Blood Angels troop choices consist of 2 identical assault squads. Both are 15-man strong. The sergeant is equipped with artificer armour and a power axe, and the unit contains 2 power swords and another power axe. Fast attack choice for the Blood Angels are 2 Dreadclaw drop pods. One will be carrying the Legion Terminator squad, the other will be carrying the Crimson Paladins and the Legion Herald. The first and only heavy support choice for the Blood Angels is a Leviathan Siege Dreadnought. He has a dedicated transport of a Legion Dreadnought drop pod. He is wielding a Cyclonic Melter Lance, a Siege Drill with built-in melter gun, 2 Iliastus pattern assault cannons, and he has armoured Ceramite. Lord of War choice and warlords for the Blood Angels army is Sanguinius, the Primarch, the Great Angel himself. He is wielding the Spear of Telesto and the Moonsilver Blade.
That's 3,000 points of Sons of Horus. They're running the Orbital Assault Rite of War, and the Warlord is the Herald, and his Warlord trait will be World Burner. After rolling on the Warlord trait for World Burner, the army was able to assign 3 units to Shred Rule on their blast weapons and template weapons. Those are the 2 tactical support squads with Flamers and the Seeker squad. The Sons of Horus HQ slot is made up of 2 Centurions. We've got a plain Centurion, no console type. He's armed with a combi plasma, power sword, artificer armour, refractor field, and then we've got a Legion Herald. He's armed with artificer armour and refractor field as well as a power fist and melter bombs. The first Sons of Horus Elite slot is taken up by a veteran squad, Weapon Masters. The Sergeant is equipped with artificer armour and a power fist. And then we've got 4 power axes and the squad is equipped with melter bombs. The Weapon Master veterans are riding in a Dreadclaw drop pod as a dedicated transport. The final elite slot is an Apothecarian detachment. We've got 1 armed with an augury scanner and artificer armour. The second one is armed with a combi plasma. The third one is armed with artificer armour. The Sons of Horus using all 6 troop slots. The first 2 of 6 are 2 identical tactical squads. The sergeant's armed with artificer armour and the squad has a Legion Vexilla. Then both units are equipped with drop pods. The third troop choice is a tactical support squad armed with melter guns. The sergeant also has a melter gun, artificer armour and melter bombs, and they're riding in a Legion drop pod. Sons of Horus then have a tactical support squad, 9 men armed with plasma guns. The sergeant has artificer armour, and again they're in a Legion drop pod. The Sons of Horus then round out their troop selections with 2 tactical support squads with flamers. They're near identical. Both sergeants have artificer armour, but one is equipped with a power sword, one just has his chainsword. They're both riding in Legion drop pods. The first and only fast attack selection is 8 Legion Seekers. They're all equipped with combi plasmas. The sergeant is equipped with artificer armour and there's a Nuncio Vox in the unit. Again, they're riding in a Legion drop pod. The final selection for the Sons of Horus is a Leviathan Siege Dreadnought. He's got a Leviathan Storm Cannon, armoured Ceramite, and 2 sets of the Volkite Calivers. Then he's riding in a Legion Dreadnought drop pod.
Tom, Jason, the board looks a little bit bare. There's not a lot of units on the board, is there?
No. 2 non-deploying armies, so nothing starting on the table.
Yeah, it's going to be really prickly first turn because obviously the Blood Angels are coming down first, aren't they?
Yes, yep. Sons of Horus won the roll and assigned me to go first, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's not what you wanted, was it?
No, it's a little bit of a twist on normal, and you can't roll seize the initiative to go second.
No, unfortunately not.
So we are as we are. So the board is barren, but it's going to be really interesting to see how these guys work around that null deploy and get the advantage. We have placed the objective markers, which you've seen on the board preview there. But I think it's going to be a really interesting game. Gents, let's have a friendly handshake if we can.
Good luck.
Good luck, mate.
Cheers. And Blood Angels first turn. Blood Angels first turn movement. Nothing started on the table as we null deployed, so all the jump infantry have deployed using the cometh of host special rule, allowing them to deep strike on turn 1. Sanguinius is deployed in the centre of the table with his assault squad. The Angels Tiers unit and the second assault squad, accompanied by the chaplain, have also deployed in close proximity. The 2 Dreadclaw drop pods carrying the Legion Terminator squad and the Crimson Paladins have also deployed near the centre of the table. I've tried to keep the army unified and close together, ready for the inevitable Sons of Horus turn 1 drop assault and the oncoming Alpha Strike. Blood Angels shooting phase. There's been no weapons fired as there's no enemy to shoot at. However, all 3 infantry units have run. The assault squad with a chaplain only managed a 2 and have spread out. Sanguinius fared even worse with a 1, and the Angels Tiers unit managed a 3-inch run. Both Dreadclaws have also moved, and the whole army is just spread out in case of Flamer templates and bunched up to try and make the deployment a little bit harder for the Sons of Horus when they come in.
Sons of Horus turn 1 movement. 5 pods coming in the turn 1. We've got the Leviathan and the Seekers there. They've come down on the landing pad ready to try and deal with the Angels Tiers. There's also a Plasma support squad flanking the Blood Angels and 2 Flame support squads in very close to the Assault Marines.
At the end of the Sons of Horus movement phase, the Angels Tiers squad used the Apothecary's Augury Scanner to intercept the Seeker squad. The assault cannons fired a total of 20 shots, 13 hit, 11 of which wounded, 1 of which was a rending, but due to the power armour and the Apothecary's Feel No Pain, only a single Marine was slain.
Sons of Horus turn 1 shooting. The tactical support squad with flamers have caused 41 hits on the assault squad in the middle, causing 27 wounds and inflicting 8 casualties, including their apothecary. Another torrent of flames from the second flamer support squad, again on the same assault squad in the middle. They caused 30 hits, inflicting 19 wounds and 5 casualties. Because Jason's got the chaplain in the unit, they don't need to take a leadership test. The combined firepower from the 2 pods together shot into what was left of the assault squad and managed to snipe out the sergeant. Next fire, the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought targeted the Angels Tiers again in the centre. With the Storm Cannon and his Volkite Calibers, he managed to kill 2 Marines armed with chainswords. The Seekers fired into the Angels Tiers down there. Elite unit there with 9 plasma guns, but unfortunately 5 of them rolled gets hot. They did cause 3 wounds. The Seekers passed their armour saves and none died, but they also failed to inflict any casualties on the Angels Tiers who passed their cover saves. Then we've got the tactical support squad with plasma guns desperately trying to injure the Angels Tiers, but again I was only able to get 3 hits and they passed their saves. The Sons of Horus shooting phase ends with 2 drop pods trying to snipe into that Angels Tiers unit. They're able to score 4 hits, and we had one of the Angels Tiers fail an armour save, but he did pass his Feel No Pain, and got the Apothecary working pretty hard in that unit. So that brings the shooting phase to a conclusion. I've got no more run moves or anything to make, and Sons of Horus just tried to box in the Blood Angels and really try and make an impact before they have to deal with what I'm guessing is going to be quite a harsh retaliation next turn.
Blood Angels turn 2 movement. Blood Angels turn started with the Leviathan arriving from reserve. He's dropped down right in front of his Sons of Horus twin and stormed out of his drop pod. The Dreadclaw drop pod containing the Terminators has moved round the flank, disembarking the unit, with Sanguinius and his assault squad approaching from the other side. The Angels Tiers unit has advanced towards the other Flamer support squad, hoping their hardened armour will protect them from any Flamer attacks coming in. The chaplain and the remaining 2 assault marines has jumped over the squad hoping to come in from the rear, and the final Dreadclaw containing the Crimson Paladins and the Herald has advanced on the Plasma Support Squad, hoping to flush them off the objective. Blood Angels turned to shooting phase. The Leviathan opened up with all its weapons at the Sons of Horus Leviathan. Despite hitting with all 4 shots from his Cyclonic Melter Lance, only 2 glancing hits were caused, one of which was stopped by the Invulnerable save. The Melter Gun missed from his Siege Drill, and the 2 Eliastus Pattern Assault Cannons managed to cause a single penetrating hit with Rending, however it was saved by the Invulnerable save. The Legion Terminator Squad, after recently disembarking from their Dreadclaw, opened up with their bolt guns from their combi weapons on the Flamer Support Squad in the rear. Despite 7 hits and causing 2 wounds on the Sergeant, he was able to tank both wounds with his Artificer Armour save. The Angels Tier Squad opened up on the Flamer Support Squad in front of them. The dual Volkite Serpenters did nothing. The Sergeant, however, was able to kill 2 with his plasma pistols. The Assault Cannons then opened up with 20 shots, 15 hits, 14 of which wounded but not a single rend. However, unfortunately for the Sons of Horus, 6 men were slain, including the Sergeant. End of Blood Angels turned to shooting phase. It's been a pretty good round of shooting. The Angels Tiers devastating a Flamer Support Squad, leaving only 2 men standing who need a leadership test. The Leviathan, however, didn't fare so well against his compatriot, and we're looking forward to a fairly brutal Blood Angels assault phase. Blood Angels turned to assault phase. The Legion Terminator Squad charged the Blood Angels turned to assault phase. The Legion Terminator Squad charged the Sons of Horus Flamer Support Squad, bracing the Wall of Death, losing 2 of their number to Overwatch fire. Sanguinius and his assault squad then charged from the other side. The Angels Tiers Squad charged the second, much depleted Flamer Support Squad, taking no casualties on the way in due to their hardened armour. The Chaplain and the 2 remaining Assault Marines also charged the same unit. On the far side of the table, the Crimson Paladins charged the Plasma Support Squad, bracing a horrific amount of plasma Overwatch fire, losing 2 of their number on the way in, only just making the charge despite a double 1 rolled for the charge distance. Blood Angels turned to assault phase, starting with combat with Sanguinius, the Assault Squad, and the Legion Terminator Squad. Sanguinius managed to slay a Sons of Horus Marine with his Hammer of Wrath attack at Initiative 10. The Assault Squad caused 4 hits with their Hammer of Wrath. Only 1 wound was caused, but the model was slain. Next to strike was Sanguinius with the Spear of Telesto. His attacks were made at Initiative 8. This would normally be 7, but on the first round of any combat he gains +1 initiative and +1 attack, in addition to the normal attack for charging in. His 8 attacks caused 7 hits, 7 wounds, killing 7 men from the squad. Next to strike at Initiative 5 was the Blood Angels Assault Squad, who overwhelmed the last standing Sons of Horus Marine, wiping out the squad. After a brutal first combat phase for that Assault Squad, the Sanguinius and his unit were able to consolidate a measly 1 inch, and the Terminators consolidated 3 inches back towards their transport. The next combat between the Angels Tiers Squad and the Chaplain with the remnants of the Assault Squad and the last Flamer Support Squad. The Chaplain swung first at Initiative 6, wielding his Blade of Perdition, getting a mighty 4 hits, 4 wounds, ripping through the last 2 men, consolidating 4 inches. Another successful combat for the Blood Angels. The Chaplain and his Assault Squad consolidated 4 inches, taking cover behind the Sons of Horus drop pod. The Angels Tiers consolidated 3 inches back into the centre, hoping to bring their melter bombs to bear on that Leviathan in future turns if required. The final combat of Blood Angels Turn 2 was the Crimson Paladins against the Sons of Horus Plasma Support Squad. First to strike was the Paladin Exemplar wielding his Blade of Perdition. He caused 3 hits, 3 wounds, and slew 3 Sons of Horus. Next model to strike at Initiative 5 was the last remaining Paladin. He struck with 3 attacks with his Sunset Blade, however missed with all of his attacks. We forgot that there was an Apothecary in the unit, and of the 3 wounds caused, 2 were able to be saved by the Apothecary's Feel No Pain save.
Next strike at Initiative 4 was the Sons of Horus retaliating. They had 7 attacks, they scored 5 hits, 1 wound, and that was saved by the Terminator's Cataphractii armour. Striking at Initiative 1, thanks to the Merciless Fighters rule, the Sons of Horus got another 7 attacks, and this time forced 2 arm saves, but both were again passed.
Last to strike at Initiative 1 was the Legion Herald with his Power Fist. With 4 attacks he hit twice, crushing 2 Sons of Horus with his Power Fist, negating the Feel No Pain save. The Sons of Horus Plasma Support Squad failed their leadership test and fled 7 inches back towards their table edge. Luckily this is the other side of the table, so they are not off the table, The Crimson Paladins, however, were only able to consolidate 1 inch, not being able to sweep in advance due to their Cataphracti Terminator armour. A strong assault phase for the Blood Angels, wiping out every unit they charge, bar 1, which is being forced to fled. This puts me and the Blood Angels in a really strong position, ready to seize the Sons of Horus turn 2 assault wave.
Sons of Horus turn 2. Everything's come in this turn. Thanks to the tip of the spear rule, I was able to re-roll and bring in every pod in the army, so everything is on board now. Got the Dreadclaw in, hovering, that contains the Weapon Master veterans. Then the Seekers have fallen back away from the Leviathan, with the Sons of Horus Leviathan moving up to try and tackle the opposing Blood Angels one. Down on this flank is where a lot of the pods have come in. Got some tactical marines there to try and hold objectives. The Melter Gun squad there to try and pick off the last of the Crimson Paladins. And then luckily the Plasma support squad were able to rally at the beginning of this turn, and they're hoping to retaliate against the assault squads. Then you can see there just the last tactical squad again sort of looking at objectives. Sons of Horus turn 2 shooting. Started off with the Plasma support squad that broke last turn, so they've had to snap shoot, try and do some damage against the Blood Angels assault squad. Fired 12 shots with their plasma guns. They had 4 overheats though. Go again, sorry mate.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
12 shots, 2 hits, no wounds due to rolling double ones.
Yeah, of course. I threw myself on the 2 hits. I was like, where's only 2 hits? Because they're snap shooting.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
don't worry. Go for it.
Turn 2, Sons of Horus shooting. Started off with the Plasma support squad right in the centre that was broken by the Crimson Paladins last turn. They've tried to retaliate, shooting at the Blood Angels assault squad. They've snapshot 12 shots with the plasma guns. Only 2 hits, and they didn't cause any wounds. Rolled 2 ones. And then even worse, I rolled 4 overheats, and that resulted in 2 dead. Right, bit better result from the tactical squad. They've charged out of their drop pod and fired at the same target as the Plasma Marines did, that assault squad. Thanks to Death Dealer, we had 2 guys at the front rapid firing at Ballistic Skill 5, and with 6 wounds, that resulted in 1 unsaved wound on one of the Marines and a lost wound for the chaplain, so pretty good result from them. Had a good start from the Melter Gun support squad there, firing into the Crimson Paladins with their Melter Guns. So 10 Melter Gun shots, hit 6 times, scored 6 wounds, and is looking really promising until Jason passed loads of the invulnerable saves on that Cataphracti and only lost 1 model. Got another tactical squad jumping out their drop pod and firing with their bolters, this time onto the Crimson Paladin squad again. 8 hits, 5 wounds, resulting in 1 wound on one of the characters. Right, just to finish off on this flank, I've fired the bolt guns from the drop pods. Never forget them, because they always do something. We've got 3 firing into the Crimson Paladins. That failed to do anything. But over here, we had 2 pods firing into what was left of the assault squad with the chaplain. 1 pod killed the last remaining Marine, and then the other pod was lucky enough to snipe out the chaplain. So, bit cheeky, but great result. Right, the Leviathans tried to weaken Jason's Leviathan, firing into it before he charges. With Sunder on the Storm Cannon, he's been able to inflict 2 glancing hits, one of which Jason saved with his invulnerable, but the other one went through. The Sons of Horus Seeker unit there isn't equipped with anything that can harm that Leviathan, and they've had to move out the way. They've rolled 2 inches, and then round here, just finished off with that drop pod trying to do some damage to the Terminators with its bolt gun, but failed. Jason passed his armor save and negated it. Sons of Horus turn to assault phase. The Sons of Horus Leviathan is charged into the Blood Angels Leviathan. Overwatch was ineffective after all. I've already rolled out the Hammer of Wrath hits, again ineffective. So because of the charge, I've got the higher initiative, and I'm going to roll out these 4 attacks. Oh, that's 3 hits. Good news with 3 hits. Strength 10, so I need 3s now. Here we go. Oh, lovely.
Three
Right.
penetrating hits.
Yeah, you'll go on the invulnerable, see if that shield
3
can
invulnerable
save it.
saves for Leviathan. He's got a 4-up invulnerable save. 2 have gone through, only passing 1. So Tom gets 2 rolls on the vehicle damage table.
See what we get. Oh, both
Only
ones.
double 1. So crew shaken. He's got 1 hull point left. The Blood Angel's Leviathan now gets to attack back with just 3 attacks. He's hitting on 4s due to the same weapon skill.
But he has got the armor bane weapon.
There's no luck with the Armor Bane as he's missed with all 3 of his attacks.
That's pretty unfortunate.
Losing the combat to the Sons of Horus Leviathan.
Right, that was a really interesting turn for the Sons of Horus, turn 2. Not loads going on or loads of damage, but the Sons of Horus are in a strong position for the rest of the game for the War of Lies objectives. They're sort of moving on to them objectives, and I have managed to pick off a couple of small units like the Assault Squad and come back with a bit of damage on that Leviathan. So pretty good result. It's quite a key phase now, see how we go from here.
Blood Angel's turn 3 movement started with the Dreadclaw drop pod switching into zooming mode and has zoomed over the 2 Sons of Horus squads closest to it, performing a fire sweep. No damage was caused to the Plasma support squad, but 1 tactical marine was felled by the fire sweep move. The Angel's Tears squad has jumped over the drop pod to engage the Plasma support squad. The Crimson Paladins have advanced towards the Melter Gun squad that killed one of their members last turn. Sanguinius and his assault squad have advanced into the middle of the table, just trying to close distance with the Sons of Horus as quickly as possible. The Terminators embarked on their Dreadclaw drop pod on the far side of the table and just moved 6 inches closer to the Sons of Horus unit, and the Leviathan is locked in combat and unable to move. Blood Angel's turn 3 shooting phase. The only 2 actions this turn are Sanguinius and his assault squad trying to run, however they only rolled a 1, so just shuffled a little closer. That's the second time he's rolled a 1 for his run. The Angel's Tear squad is then going to commence firing on the Plasma support squad, hoping to wipe them out. Final act from the Blood Angel's turn 3 shooting phase was a devastating round of fire from the Angel's Tears on the Plasma support squad. The Sergeant missed with 1 plasma pistol overheating but saving his armour save, wounding but then the feel no pain passing. The assault cannons opened up with 20 shots, causing 19 hits, 16 of which wounded, causing 5 rends, killing 5 men, leaving only the apothecary in, who was then forced to make 11 armour saves, failing 5 and passed 4 out of 5 of his feel no pain saves, only just dying, wiping the squad out. Blood Angels turn 3 assault phase. A brutal start with the Crimson Paladins charging into the newly arrived Sons of Horus Melter Gun support squad. 3 hits caused from the Overwatch, all causing 3 wounds. The Paladin Exemplar was brought down with 1, passing another, and the Herald unfortunately failed his invulnerable save, being instant death by the Melter Gun, wiping out the unit before they even got to strike. Continuing the Blood Angels assault phase, the next combat to fight is the Blood Angels Leviathan against the Sons of Horus Leviathan. Both strike at the same time, initiative 4. I'll roll first for the Blood Angel Leviathan. He gets 3 attacks, hitting on 4s. He's done exactly what he did last turn and missed with all 3 of his attacks. He's only got 1 whole point left for the Sons of Horus to finish him off with his 3 attacks.
Really crucial combat here, so let me retaliate. No armor bane for me though, but 3 attacks, 2 hits. Good start.
That's 2 penetrating
hits, needed the 4s.
Oh God. I need to pass both of these to keep my Leviathan alive. 4 up invulnerable. He's passed both.
Well done.
Just so the combat is a draw with no damage caused on either side.
Fantastic.
End of Blood Angels turn 3. Another brutal turn. The Angel's Tears doing what they do best, killing, but I have lost the Crimson Paladins and the Leviathan was a stalemate. It's now a tight game going into Sons of Horus turn 3 with anything to go.
Right, we're only on Sons of Horus turn 3, but what a tense game so far. I was a little bit worried it might swing one way before, but really levelling out now. I've held the veterans in that Dreadclaw in reserve, just because we're at that sort of tense stage. I don't know where they're going to be needed. Coming around to the back, the Seekers have got away from that Dreadnought duel, trying to find some targets and something useful to do with themselves. Here the Tactical Marines have stayed put. They're on an objective. They might be firing soon. And we've moved up the Melter support squad looking to do something about their lethal Angel's Tears unit that haven't really been able to touch yet. Same again with the other tactical support squad, just staying put near an objective, hoping to fire in the shooting phase. Sons of Horus shooting turn 3. It's a real crucial stage, and the Sons of Horus have started off in great style with the Melter support squad moving up and firing their melter guns at the Angel's Tears unit. That's been a pain all game, really lethal unit, the Angel's Tears. They rolled 9 hits with the melter guns, wounded 8, and because they're ignoring the Feel No Pain for the Apothecary and the hardened armour, they wiped the squad. The Angel's Tears weren't able to go to ground due to the Rite of War, and yeah, great success at a pretty crucial time for the Sons of Horus. Continuing the Sons of Horus shooting phase, this tactical squad's aimed down their sights at the big unit with Sanguinius in the middle, the assault squad. They've used Fury of the Legion. They managed 18 shots, 13 hits, 8 wounds, and caused 2 casualties. Come across a little bit of a tricky one here because we've got a tactical squad that can just see Sanguinius over those armoured containers. They can only see him and none of the assault squad. There's 3 of them that had line of sight just to him. They fired, and as it was, 2 hit, and they failed to wound anyway, but just a little bit of an interesting case there, trying to do what damage they can before that Primarch bears down on them. The Sons of Horus have wrapped up their shooting phase by shooting the last of their drop pods into Sanguinius's unit with the Assault Marines right in the centre of the table. Quite a few shots, some rapid fire and some not, but culminating in 2 wounds going through, both being saved by Feel No Pain in the end. Sons of Horus assault phase, and we're going straight into the only combat of the assault phase. We've got the Leviathans in a stalemate still at the back of the board, so pretty crucial. Let's see how it goes. Got 3 attacks, want to hit on 4s. Oh,
roll reversal. Sons of Horus Leviathan has missed with all 3 of his attacks. Blood Angel Leviathan gets to strike back with his 3 attacks, again hoping for 4s, see if he can actually hit this time. He's caused 2 hits. Now the Blood Angel's Leviathan is equipped with a siege drill, giving him armor bane.
I'll make these count.
He gets 2d6 plus 10, so he needs a 3 on 2 dice. So 14, that's a penetrating, and 18, that's 2 penetrating hits on the Sons of Horus Leviathan.
Very important to try and save it with this shield in now. 4 ups. Oh, one's gone through. 1 penetrating hit. Vehicle damage table.
5. It goes up to a 6 as it's AP2, which is, I've forgotten, immobilized. That was his combat continues then with the Sons of Horus Leviathan down to 2 hull points, but the Blood Angels Leviathan still on his last hull point.
Just to wrap up the Sons of Horus turn now, it's been a really good round of shooting, really. Sort of picking off little straggler units, consolidating and really getting them back in the game, to be honest. Got rid of that difficult Angel's Tears unit. The only big concern now is the Leviathan's back at this end of the table because the Sons of Horus Leviathan isn't looking as strong as he was last turn. So we'll see how that goes and whether he's going to need a bit of backup there or not. Interesting to see where we go from here because still got Sanguinius to deal with.
Blood Angel's turn forward movement. The Dreadclaw drop pod has switched into hover mode and just moved closer to a tactical squad, preparing for a fire sweep in future turns. In the centre of the board, Sanguinius has left his assault squad, going to attempt to charge at the tactical squad, while his assault squad makes a move on the melter gun support squad after wiping out too many of my units. In the centre, the Leviathan Dreadnought remains locked in combat, and the Dreadclaw drop pod containing the Terminators has switched to zooming mode and has zoomed across the table, making tracks for the Seeker squad hiding in the corner. Blood Angels turn 4 shooting phase. It's a short one, with the only action being the Blood Angels assault squad targeting the Sons of Horus melter gun squad. 14 bolt pistol shots were fired, causing 11 hits, 8 wounds, and 2 slain Sons of Horus Marines. Blood Angels turn 4 assault phase. Sanguinius has charged the tactical squad in front. Despite the bolt guns rattling off, no wounds were caused. The Blood Angel assault squad charged the melter gun support squad, however the Overwatch was much more effectual, with 3 Assault Marines melted by the melter guns in the Overwatch, ignoring their Feel No Pain saves. Blood Angels turn 4 assault phase. We're starting with Sanguinius charging the Sons of Horus tactical squad. At initiative 10, he gets a strength 10 AP2 Hammer of Wrath attack, so it's a 2 to kill someone. It's a 6, so that's 1 dead Sons of Horus Marine slain purely from impact for the Angel charging. He then gets 8 attacks on the charge, initiative 8, 6 normally, 1 for charging, and an extra 1 due to his special rule. He's hitting on 3s. So we've got 1 miss so far. I get to re-roll it due to the Mastercrafted rule for the Spear of Telesto. That hits, so that's all 8 hits. He now has 2s to wound on all of these. That is 1 fail to wound, so that's 2, 4, 6, 7 slain Sons of Horus Marines. Next initiative step of 4, the Sons of Horus Marines pile in 3 inches, but unfortunately are out of range to attack. Therefore, they're unable to attack and they go straight to their leadership test. Having lost the combat by 7, they need a double 1 to hold.
Yep, so do that now, but I have got a re-roll because of the Vexilla.
That's failed first.
Come on. No, not much chance
They
of that.
fall. It's now an initiative test to see if the Angel can catch. He's initiative 7 plus D6. That's a 5. So the Sons of Horus can't beat that and escape, so they are ripped apart as they try to flee. The Angel now gets to consolidate another 4 inches. The next round of combat was the Assault Marines. They've charged in. In initiative 10, they've done their Hammer of Wrath attacks. They caused 5 wounds, but all were passed by the armor save. At initiative 5, the Power Swords from the Apothecary and 2 Marines have struck. With 9 attacks, only 3 hits, and no wounds, no damage caused. Next to fight initiative step 5 are the Assault Marines equipped with chain swords. With 18 attacks, there were 8 hits, 5 of which wounded, and 3 armor saves were failed. At initiative step 4, the Sons of Horus retaliated with 6 attacks. They hit 4 times, causing 2 wounds, but both armor saves were passed. At initiative 1, the Blood Angels equipped with power axes struck with 7 attacks, 4 hit, all wounded, killing 4 tactical marines, leaving only the sergeant alive, requiring a double 1 for his leadership test. See if they can hold.
No,
nearly, but not quite.
The heroic last stand, but not close enough.
Let's see if they can catch them with the initiative roll. The Blood Angels get a 6 and a 4, so the Sons of Horus can't beat it, so they are caught and killed and slain. The Blood Angels then get to consolidate 3 inches. Final act of the Blood Angels assault phase is the standoff between the Leviathans continuing. The Blood Angels Leviathan will attack with all 3 attacks, needing 4s to hit. He's managed a single hit. He does, however, have Armor Bane, allowing him 2d6 plus Strength 10. 5, so it's a penetrating hit, needing 1 invulnerable save from Leviathan Dreadnought. Not enough to kill it unless he can get an Explodes result. It goes through. So I need a 6, no 4. So it goes to a 5, which is weapon destroyed.
Yep, my turn to retaliate. I've got 2 attacks because of the immobilised result last turn. So let's see what we can manage with 2 attacks. 1 hit. Need freeze. It's through.
It's penetrating hit.
All on your invulnerable save.
Vulnerable save to save his last hull point on a 4 up. Ooh, missed the tray. Saved on a 5. Continues again with the Sons of Horus Leviathan on 1 hull point now, both on their last hull point. Weapon destroyed on the Sons of Horus Leviathan was one of the Volcoits. Unfortunately, I was hoping to get the Siege Claw, but they both continue with 1 hull point left each. End of Blood Angels turn 4. It's been another bloody turn with Sanguinius and the Assault Squad each wiping out a unit. It's all to play in the last couple of turns with units hiding in Dreadclaw drop pods waiting for the final time to strike.
Sons of Horus turn 4 movement. There's not much movement that Sons of Horus can make aggressively, so the tactical squad that fired Fury of the Legion last turn has just fallen back, knowing they won't be able to shoot at that assault squad. The Dreadclaw further up has moved over to try and pose a threat to the Assault Marines next turn, and again the Seeker squad has fallen back, just trying to get a bit further away from Sanguinius and get a turn of shooting him before he closes with them. Sons of Horus shooting phase turn 4, really following on from the movement phase, running with the Seekers, just consolidating that bit further from Sanguinus. The Dreadclaw move flat out, moving in from the middle of the board and hopefully blocking off that assault squad a bit. and the tactical squad shuffled a further 2 inches away from the assault squad. Finishing off the shooting phase for Sons of Horus, once again we've had all of the drop pods joining in with their combi bolters, and they've managed a total of 3 kills on that assault squad. Nearly even luckier, the apothecary got hit, failed a lookout cert and an armour save, and just passed his feel no pain at the end. Sons of Horus turn 4 assault phase. We're at the only thing going on, and it's pretty crucial. We've got the Leviathans fighting still, getting a little bit nervous now as we're both on 1 hull point, and I've only got 2 attacks to play with. So let's start with them. Looking for 4s, 2 6s, nice. Roll to penetrate, looking for 3 up.
That's 2 penetrating
pens.
hits.
Let's see what you can do on your invulnerables.
2 4-up invulnerable saves. A single one and he's dead. He's dead, but he still gets to attack back his initiative. So I'll do my 3 attacks back, hitting on 4s. He's hit with all 3 of his attacks. Again, his siege drill with armor bane. He gets 2d6 armor penetration. That's 1 penetrating hit, 2 penetrating hits, 3 penetrating hits. So that's 3 invulnerable saves for the Sons of Horus.
Had to grab an extra dice than I expected. 2 failed. He's gone as well.
So all that's now is to resolve the damage to see if there's any explode results.
Yep.
Now looking for 6s on both of us. 1 explode for the Sons of Horus Dreadnought.
Just 1 for me, wasn't it?
Yep.
No.
No, just wrecked the Blood Angels Dreadnought. There's nothing in range of the explosion that could be caught, so the Sons of Horus Dreadnought's removed and the Blood Angels Dreadnought is wrecked. Both killed.
Because of the reactors in the Leviathans, that explosion could potentially have hurt the drop pods surrounding them, but we rolled low enough that it didn't have any effect. But what an end to that battle, with them both sort of killing each other at the end after all them turns.
Blood Angels turn 5 movement. The Dreadclaw has moved 6 inches and the Terminators have disembarked, making their way towards the Sons of Horus Seeker squad. Sanguinius has leapt to join the assault squad, who have then moved towards the Dreadclaw drop pod, hoping for a cheeky charge later in the game. The other Dreadclaw drop pod has moved over the Sons of Horus tactical squad, performing a fire sweep. Resolving the fire sweep attack, 2 wounds were caused, but both were saved by the power armor. Blood Angels turn 5 shooting phase. The Terminators commence shooting with opening up with 3 combi plasmas on the Seeker squad. Despite 3 hits and 3 wounds, 1 was passed with a feel no pain, killing 2 Seekers. Continuing the Blood Angels shooting phase, the Apothecary threw a crack grenade at the Dreadclaw, hitting but not causing any damage. Sanguinius then opened up with his weapon, hitting twice, causing 1 penetrating hit. This went through the Jinx save, causing a weapon destroyed result. However, as the Dreadclaw has no weapons, this translated into an immobilized result, immobilizing the Dreadclaw, holding it in place. Blood Angels turn 5 assault phase. The Terminators have charged the Sons of Horus Seeker squad, one of the Terminators being brought down by overwatch fire from the Scorpius ammunition. Sanguinius and the assault squad have charged the immobilized Dreadclaw drop pod, rolling a 6 for their assault move. However, using their jump packs, I decided to re-roll to try and get Sanguinius in, getting a 9. Still not quite far enough to get him involved in the combat. Sanguinius piled in initiative 10, but was unable to get close enough to strike. Then the assault marines all struck with 8 crack grenades, hitting automatically because of the immobilized result, only causing, however, a single glancing hit, leaving the Dreadclaw very much alive on 1 hull point. Continuing the Blood Angels turn 5 assault phase, at initiative 5 the Sons of Horus Centurion stepped up and attacked with his power sword, unable to cause any wounds on the Terminators. Then the Seekers and the Apothecary also all attacked, however, again, not causing any wounds on the Legion Terminators. The next to strike were the Terminators at initiative 1, with 6 attacks, only 3 hit and 2 wound, killing 2 Sons of Horus Seeker Marines. However, they do still outnumber the Terminators, so will get their extra attacks due to their Merciless Fighter special rule. Continuing the initiative 1 step, the Sons of Horus retaliated with their Merciless Fighter rule, causing 4 wounds on the Terminators, however all were saved by their Cataphractii armour. Blood Angels turn 5 assault phase. The Sons of Horus failed their leadership test on a 7. They fled 11 inches and the Cataphractii Terminators consolidated 5 inches in their direction. That's the end of the Blood Angels turn 5. It's looking pretty bare out there now. There's not much left alive. Sanguinius and the assault squad are hoping to get at the Weapon Master veterans in the Dreadclaw. and the Terminators will try and finish off the fleeing Sons of Horus character and the Seekers.
Sons of Horus turn 5 movement. They've been very lucky to have the Seekers rally this turn. They've consolidated 3 inches away from the Terminators. Then moving down, I've had to take a bit of a risk and go for glory here. The Weapon Master veterans along with the Herald have popped out of that immobilised Dreadclaw, and they're going to try their luck against Sanguinus and that nasty Assault Squad unit, see how we go. But I think at this stage of the game, with how bloody it's been, they've got to go for glory really. Turn 5 shooting for the Sons of Horus. The Seekers have turned round and rallied. And of course they fired at these Terminators chasing them. I chose to go with these Scorpius bolts, trying to make the most of the AP2, seeing as they were snap firing anyway. I got 1 wound result, but Jason saved it with his invulnerable. Then we went with the 2 drop pods again, just trying to get the most out of them combi bolters, but unfortunately they didn't have any effect this turn. Carrying on with the Sons of Horus shooting, the Weapon Master veterans desperately tried to soften up the Assault Squad before they charge. 1 crack grenade got thrown, which failed to wound after hitting. And then fired 9 bolt pistols in there. Ended up with 7 wounds, of which Jason failed 2 after his feel no pains and armour saves. Carrying on with everything the Sons of Horus can manage in the shooting, we fired the 3 drop pods, resulting in no unsaved wounds in the end for the Assault Squad. Wrapping up the Sons of Horus shooting, the tactical squads rapid fired into the Assault Squad at that close range with Death Dealer. Started out well with 15 hits. Unfortunately, out of 9 wounds, Jason, using his Artificer and Feel No Pain, didn't take any unsaved wounds. Sons of Horus turn 5 assault phase. I've declared a charge with the Weapon Master veterans and the Herald into Sanguinus and the Assault Marines. They've managed to charge. Before that, Jason failed to hit anything in Overwatch. And yeah, we're in now. I'm going to start rolling. We're starting off at Initiative 7 with Sanguinus, so a little bit nervous now, but Jason's going to start rolling out. What do you need?
The Sergeant's issued a challenge, so Sanguinus has to accept just per the Right of War rules. So he's got 7 attacks at Initiative 7. He needs 3s to hit with his high weapon skill. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 misses. He's Mastercrafter, so I get 1 reroll. Managing to get 4 hits. He's Strength User when charged, so he's only Strength 6, but he's still wounding on 2s, and the spear does still cause instant death. However, I've just rolled 3 1s. However, that's only 1 wound, but the Spear of Telesto has an additional rule called Wrath of Angels, so for every 6 roll to wound, it causes an additional wound. So the Sergeant is slain plus 1 other veteran only.
Sons of Horus very lucky there from the attacks from Sanguinus, but we're now moving on to Initiative Step 4. Jason's going to roll his out first, although we will be striking at the same time. So going first for your power swords, all right, mate? 4
attacks from the power swords, hitting on 4s. Only 1 hit. Ooh. They're wounding on 3s, however, due to the Blood Angels and Carmine Fury rule. That's 1 hit, 1 wound, that's 1 AP3, 1 dead veteran. Seeker Makers Feel No Pain.
Yeah, Feel No Pain. Let's see how that goes. Saved. Wow. Right.
Continue Initiative 4, the Blood Angels Assault Marines with Chainsaws will attack. That's 6 attacks, hitting on 4s again. So 4 hits this time, again wounding on 3s. Only a single wound caused, so a single armour save for the Sons of Horus. Passed
saved.
Again. No casualties caused.
Right, continuing Initiative Step 4, we've got 8 attacks from 2 Weapon Masters with close combat weapons. We're looking for 3s to hit because they're Weapon Masters, and they can reroll 1s because of the banner. Nice. Right, so that's 3, 4 straight out of here. 3 hits and reroll this one. That's 4 hits, wounded on 4s. 2 wounds, so if you take 2 saves, please.
2 power armoured armour saves. Double 1, Feel No Pain from the Apothecary. That's 1 dead Blood Angel Assault Marine.
The Apothecary could easily duck under the Dreadclaw, but we can't really practically move it today, so we've got 3 attacks to roll for him. That's 3 hits. Rolling 4s to wound. Oh, that's nice. All failed. Right, now we've got 4 veterans with power axes, retaliating with 16 attacks between all of them, hitting on freeze. Let's grab them 2s out and we can re-roll the 1s. Right, so there's 3 1s there. They need re-rolling. Right, so that gives us another 2 hits. And that gives us 7, 8 to wound. Wounding on freeze, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4 wounds that you need to take when you feel no pain.
No armor save, just a feel no pain on a 5-up. That's 4.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 and 3 6s. That's all saved. No wounds taken from the power axes.
Final model to attack is the Sons of Horus Herald. He's got 4 attacks because he charged. He's attacking with a power fist. We want 3s to hit. Nice, 3 hits. 2s to wound. There we go. 3 wounds through, and because it's double toughness, majority toughness, you won't feel no pain.
Double strength, yep, that's 3 dead Blood Angels. The 3 wounds caused from the power fist were on the Blood Angels. The third and final on the Apothecary was attempted to look out, sir, however it was failed. The Blood Angels actually lost combat, but due to Sanguinius being a Primarch and being fearless, no leadership was required, so the unit has held and the combat is a stalemate.
Just wrapping up turn 5 for the Sons of Horus. Not huge amounts to talk about, just getting down to the really final tense moments now with that combat. Didn't really go how I expected it. I thought Jason would probably do a lot more with Sanguinius, and I thought I'd probably do a lot more with the power axes, but you never quite know how that sort of thing is going to go. Really interesting. And
Blood Angels turn 6 movement phase, not a lot happened. The Terminators closed the distance on the Seekers. The 2 Dreadclaw drop pods engaged into zooming mode and fire swept. 4 wounds were caused on the Seekers, however all armor saves and feel no pain were passed, and the fire sweep attack on the tactical squad caused no wounds whatsoever. Blood Angels turn 6 shooting phase, short and quick, just the Terminators rapid firing their bolt guns into the Seekers before charging. 2 wounds were caused, however both were tanked by the character's Artificer armor at the front of the unit. Blood Angels turn 6 assault phase. The Terminators have charged the Seekers. Overwatch fire was pretty deadly, with the Scorpius causing a hit and a wound. However, the lone Cataphractii Terminator was just about able to pass his invulnerable save again. At initiative step 5, the Sons of Horus Centurion stepped up with his power sword, causing 3 hits, 3 wounds, and a failed armor save, resulting in a dead Cataphractii Terminator. At initiative step 4, the Seekers piled in with 4 attacks. 2 wounds were caused, but luckily the armor save was passed and the Terminator survives to strike with his power fist. At initiative step 1, the Terminator Sergeant swung with his power fist. With only a single hit and a single wound, he was able to kill one. With merciless fire to rule, the remaining Seekers piled in and attacked again. However, they were unable to cause any wounds on the Terminator, resulting in a drawn combat. The next combat to fight was between Sanguinius and his Assault Marines and the Sons of Horus Weapon Masters veterans led by the Herald. Sanguinius issued a challenge, and the Apothecary stepped forward to protect the Herald. Sanguinius attacked with 6 attacks, only hitting 3 times, wounding with all 3 though, one of which caused an extra wound due to the Wrath of Angels, killing the Apothecary and 3 veterans. Next to strike at initiative step 4 was the lone Assault Marine wielding a chainsword. He hit once, wounded once, but the wound was saved by the power armor. Kicking off proceedings at initiative step 1 is the Blood Angel Sergeant with his power axe. He gets 3 attacks, hitting on 4s. With 1 hit, he's wounding on 2s. He fails to cause any wounds on the veterans again.
3 veterans with power axes retaliated just then at initiative step 1. They were able to inflict 3 wounds. They wiped out what was left of Jason's assault squad and forced Sanguinius to take an invulnerable save, which he passed. Right, the Herald's just got in there with his power fist striking at Sanguinius. He's had 3 attacks. He got 2 of them through and forced Jason to take 2 invulnerable saves. He failed one and caused a wound to the Primarch. The Herald gives fearless to the unit, and Sanguinius is fearless, so we remain locked in combat. Sons of Horus, 6th and final turn of the game. It's been super bloody game, and we're getting to the end of it now. All I've done in the movement is move the tactical squad forward. trying to secure that War of Lies objective just tucked under that pod. They've moved forward and seized that. Nothing else I can do really. We're locked in combat with Sanguinus, try and get some wounds in there and try our luck with this Terminator on the other side of the board. Hardly anything left for either of us now. Sons of Horus assault phase, turn 6. It's Traitor's last chance to do anything about this last Terminator Sergeant they've got here. Combat was a draw at the end of it though, with both sides being unable to inflict any unsaved wounds, leaving it a drawn combat. We've moved over to the second and last combat. Sanguinus issued a challenge, which the Herald didn't accept. He slunk to the back of the unit. Sanguinus then struck, with hitting 6 times, wounding 6 times. He's wiped the last 3 veterans, and that leaves the Herald on his own with 3 instant death invulnerable saves to try and pass, or he's gone. Right.
5 up.
5 up. Failed straight away. Not much tension there.
Just leaves a consolidate roll for Sanguinius of 6 inches. Final act of the game was a consolidate move from Sanguinius. He managed to roll a 6 inches, putting him in position to deny the objective from the Sons of Horus. That's the end of the game, and we're going to go and toss up the scores and see who's won.
Wow, what an absolutely amazing game. My heart is in my mouth. It was so thrilling.
Yeah. It was close.
And the scores were very, very close. Yeah,
really
definitely.
tight.
Let's get straight into those scores. We'll start with the Sons of Horus. Did really well taking out the Blood Angels. There was hardly any of the Blood Angels left on the table.
2 models. Sanguinius,
yeah.
a Terminator Sergeant, and then pods.
Yeah.
Only 2 infantry.
Unreal. Death toll, they scored 8 points. But you were so close to getting that War of Lies point at the end.
Yeah, that was what a move from Jason with Sanguinus. That was cheeky, very cheeky, but you've got to do it. And if I'd have hung in there, you wouldn't have scored the points for killing the Herald, and you might not have been able to jump onto that objective either. So really,
tight
right at the end, which is great. What more do you want? It
was a genius move from Sanguinus right on the last turn. So well done, consigning it out of combat and denying that War of Lies point for the Sons of Horus. So the Sons of Horus ended on 8 victory points, but it was the Blood Angels that triumphed. Again, 8 points on death toll. Did a really great job of killing those Sons of Horus. A ton of pods though, some easy points, but you were more focused on the units. Yeah,
the units were a bit more, I say they're more deadly, but the amount of models I lost from the combi bolters and those drop pods was lethal as well.
Absolutely. And then let's not forget, you scored 1 point for Warlord, but because the Warlord was a Herald, it confers another point.
Yeah.
So the Blood Angels ended on 10 points to 8. So congratulations.
Nice.
Fantastic game, yeah. What more do you want from it?
Oh, man. I mean, if we look at sort of turn 2, turn 3, it looked like it was a game over with a win to the Blood Angels.
It was, pretty strong after a really good turn 2 for the Blood Angels. There wasn't much Sons of Horus left on the table, but the Leviathan holding in and a few key units coming down, doing the damage where they needed, really turned it around.
I was about to say, your turn 2 was absolutely devastating to Blood Angel. I think it pulled the game back for you, didn't it?
Yeah, and you wouldn't have thought we were on turn 2, really. I forgot several times.
I said to these guys after turn 2, I said, is it going to be a turn 3 game? But it did go the full length, and it was a super tight victory condition at the end.
Last combat of the last turn.
Really, really enjoyable all the way as well.
Yeah, and you both brought back some units to talk about. Jason, let's start with you. You brought back Sanguinius.
Yeah, pretty much because he won the game really. He went through a lot of Marines, I think about 30 odd Marines over the course of the game, but the last round of combat, 6 hits, 6 wounds, instant death, just melted through that Herald to clinch the game. The instant death on his spear is really big for me.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. He only took a wound though.
Only 1 wound.
Yeah, it's good going though.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And Tom, tell us about your devastating melt squad.
I kind of struggled to pick a unit to talk about, but just a second ago we talked about turning it around in turn 2, and Jason pointed out to me that really it was these melter guys that did that. So a melter squad that didn't ever shoot a tank, but not once, but they opened up on them Angels Tears, and that had been a real pain for me, the Angels Tears. And they're such a powerful unit, mobile with heavy shooting. And I just couldn't deal with them until I ended up with these. I was planning to save for the Leviathan, they ended up on their own, hopping out and just wiping those Angel's Tears in one turn. And
they also caught the Crimson Paladin and the Herald in
That's
Overwatch
right.
fire.
About to mention that,
Before they even made it into combat.
So satisfying.
Yeah, that's one word for it.
Can't beat Strength 8 AP1. I mean, it just does the business every time, doesn't it?
Really outdid my plasma, considering I had 2 plasma units in that game, and these are the ones that shone. So yeah, don't discount. There's same points as well, so can't discount them for anti-heavy infantry.
And the Death Dealer rule, that +1 ballistic skill, so hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s.
Yeah, there's never a game I don't notice that though.
A bit more reliable.
You did make good use of the Death Dealer rule, it has to be said. And also as well, I think one great thing for you is because of the mass drop pods, you got so many twin link bolter hits throughout the game, and they just picked off a couple of units here and there, or a couple of models, and it helped with the overall effect, really, didn't it?
I'm not a massive gamer, but the games I've played where someone's focused on killing those pods, it's surprising how like they're racking up victory points and they're taking out those bolter shots every turn. And sounds silly, but playing like that sometimes can
makes a difference. It was like having a 15-man tactical squad on the table, all over the table, shooting at me every turn.
Yeah.
No comment on what happened today though, because I don't think we gave each other any time to focus on anything but units, really. Did we?
No, there's 80 infantry.
Yeah.
So that was more than enough infantry to focus on without
Pressure,
having to rely on the pods.
Pressure everywhere, really. It was only them Seekers running away because they sort of got barricaded off. They're the only unit that got a bit of slack for a while.
Yeah.
You only had a couple of units that felt leadership and rep, but they did rally in and they did come back and help out with the game, which was really good. I think you both had a couple of rounds where your dice rolls just let you down entirely. I think there was the 3 1s from Sanguinius, wasn't it?
And 3 1s to wound from a Parax as well in the same round. I think.
Yeah.
Not much happened that round.
And you had a couple. Oh, there was the Paraxes for you as well, wasn't it?
But then earlier on, just before the game sort of swung towards Jason for a little while, those 2 plasma units really did no damage to Angel's Tears.
I think they both units came down and did no casualties between poor rolls.
That's right,
saves.
Nothing at all.
They were very unlucky.
Perhaps a little bit cautious with them, but still not a great result.
But I will say one thing, it was an absolutely spectacular to see all of those drop pods around on that board. And the board did look a little bit sparse, particularly when there was nil deploy. But I knew when all those drop pods came down, they kind of bring mobile cover with them. And then all of a sudden there was tons of line of sight blockers.
Yeah.
And it also restricted perhaps some of the flow of the game as well by working around those drop pods. So I think initially on turn 1, it looked a bit of a turkey shoot, as some people say. But I think after those drop pods came down, there was a lot of terrain in the way. So I think it worked, didn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
the end.
Your pods that came down turn 1 provided cover for your units turn 2, and I had to jump over them. The Sanguinius' Sire, the Blood Angels rule, letting him use, or the army use their jump packs in the movement and assault phase made a huge difference with the Hammer of Wrath and reroll charges.
Yeah.
So it makes a big difference to them.
And they're not small, and especially the Dreadnought ones, those few pods that came down around that landing pad really cut off some of my army. I had to move around them. There was no way through with the Leviathans there. So, that
really
Leviathan dynamic.
That Leviathan combat was pretty wild, I have to say. We've seen that a lot, though. They either tie each other out or they get smashed in the first turn. So I think it was good because I was really worried about the infantry and then the Leviathans each side, and particularly with Sanguinius as well.
Yep.
It was going to get quite devastating. But in a way, I'm glad they kind of just stuck it out on that landing pad between each other.
Yeah, and finished each other. I mean, I think either of us would have been a bit hurt if they finished it, then sort of rolled out ready to kill units.
Yeah,
unreal.
End.
It was unreal. Now, I've taken a ton of photos from this game. So as always, you can find the photos on the Facebook page. Please go there and have a look. However, if you have any direct questions or you want to follow these guys on Instagram about how they painted their armies, or if you want to see more photos of their armies, where can we find you, Tom?
For me, it's Does a Bear Paint in the Woods on Instagram, and there's an underscore between every word.
We have asked where the origin of this Instagram came from. You can't remember, can you?
No comment. I can't remember.
That's probably a good thing. Jason, where can we find you?
Again, Instagram, at T-Minority.
Excellent stuff. Now, these gents are very close to channel. They're in Milton Keynes, which is only about sort of 40 minutes from here. So hopefully they've had a good day and we might be able to see them back very, very soon. All I want to say finally is that these two armies are brilliant, and this is exactly what the channel's all about. Two guys that know each other, and you could really tell the way they played. It was really, really good. Two great guys, two great armies, exactly what the channel needs. So, if you want to come on the channel and you have a great looking army, then please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Other than that, gents, there's probably not much more to say, is there?
No, just thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it really.
You enjoyed yourselves?
Yeah, great fun. Nice to play on such an amazing table as well. That's brilliant fun.
My pleasure. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. That's it. Please check the Facebook page out to have a look at these photos. It'd be really good to hear from you. And if you've got any comments about the game, we'd love to talk to you as well. These guys will keep an eye on the Facebook page as well so they can answer their questions. If not, Instagram would be great.
Yeah, that'd be cool. If anyone is interested about anything Army specific, that'd be cool. Yeah,
great.
Definitely.
Yeah, feel free to drop a message.
Good stuff. All right, we will see you in the next game.